Man, there was no awkward talking as the hangout started this time. I'm really bummed. That's what Naki's good for, is we'll start a show and it's just random conversation that anyone who hasn't been hearing the pre-show is like, what the hell are they talking about? Well, and those of us that are in the pre-show are like, what the hell are they talking about? I'll be honest. So just quick heads up before we get started, folks. Normally you see three of us at the bottom of the screen or more. Well, about a half hour, 40 minutes before the show started, I get a text message from Naki, or a Hangouts message, I guess. Her power is out in Chicagoland right now, so unless she's going to use her cell phone, which I doubt, she is probably not going to join us unless the power comes back. So fingers crossed, maybe her power will come back sooner or later. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm not in charge of these things. Those of you in Chicagoland, you should figure it out. Tell me how
Yeah.
this works.
Fix your power, fools.
Yes, fix your power so that I don't have to. Or something like that. I don't know. I got nothing. But as you know, we normally start the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast with a random story, and Naki's generally get good ones because she works with kids for her job, and that's how we get all the Tim Tom stories and the hilarity slash craziness that comes from that. So I actually do have a work story for once, and it's just because it's really, really weird. It weirded me out. So it's a first.
Nice.
So here's how this story goes, and it involves a bathroom, so that's scary in and of itself. Is the bathrooms where I work are basically L-shaped, and if I'm holding my hand up, so if you're on video, you can see my hand hold up. The L, you'd walk in through the lower part of the L, and you'd turn around the corner to get to the stalls and the urinals and all that, and the sinks and stuff are in the short leg of the L. So when you walk in, they're on your left, and then you'd make a right to go into the bathroom. So there's mirrors there, and there's two sinks and stuff like that. So I'm busy. I get done with a meeting, and I'm rushing back to my desk. I'm like, oh, I'm going to stop and take a leak real quick because I drank a lot of coffee. So I walk in the bathroom, and literally as soon as I turn that corner to go to where the stalls is, there's a guy standing in the middle with his pants around his ankles just staring at himself in the mirror, and I'm like, what the fuck? As he sits there and tucks his undershirt into his tidy whities, he's standing there with his pants around his ankles in the bathroom. At least step back far enough that as soon as you walk in, you don't see him. But the first thing you do when you turn around the corner is literally almost hit a guy with his pants down around his ankles. And this hall is like maybe a person and a half wide, so you've got no choice but to almost run into this dude with no pants on.
Well, I love the idea too that he's tucking his work shirt into his tidy whities.
Yeah,
It's like his mom never taught him how to dress himself.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the crap is going on? I don't understand this. Is this normal is what I want to ask. I've been going in men's restrooms for 30 years now that I can recall, and I have never had this happen, especially in a professional environment where there is a dude standing in there with his pants around his ankles staring at himself in the mirror. Like, if you're in the shitter, your pants are around your ankles, of course. But not when you're... I don't understand. It weirded me the hell out.
If you leave the stall, there's no reason your pants should be down.
Exactly. I
know,
don't get it.
It's definitely not normal.
I thought it wasn't, but man, it weirded me the hell out. I'll be honest.
Now, 6 years in the Navy, 4 years living in a ship's berthing where there were 80 guys basically all having to get up and get dressed together in the morning. And it's creepily weird that the older generation are the types of guys that would still tuck like their white undershirts into their tidy whities. Like 50-year-old men that are overweight and they're still wearing tidy whities, so I don't know what the fuck's wrong with them in the first place. Because apparently their parents never told them that boxers exist. And so they're just creepy. But
What?
yeah, there's no reason you should ever be standing in a men's bathroom outside of a stall with your pants on the floor.
I mean, I'm not going to begrudge the guy his choice of undergarments. If tidy whities are what make you comfortable, you like to have your junk in close to you so it doesn't breathe, that's fine. I just don't need to see it. When I walk into the bathroom to take a leak, I'm like, what the crap?
Keep your grape smugglers to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as good as a Tim Tom story, I fully admit it, guys, but it weirded me out, so I needed to share it with my internet friends and make sure that I'm not insane by being weirded out by this. I mean, it's a dude's restroom, so terrible, heinous things happen in there anyways.
Well, that's true.
But still, I don't need to see this, especially in a professional environment. But that's not even the worst story I have about a bathroom where I've worked. My old job, let me just leave it this way. There was a person on my old job that was known as the Phantom Shitter.
Oh, no.
I don't know who it was because I left before it was figured out, but it was a person that would literally come in there and shit in the middle of the bathroom floor. So it's not the worst bathroom story I've had, but it really weirds me out, guys. I don't know how to handle it.
I think you just need to get a new job. You just need to work somewhere else. Like, that old creepy dude's going to be in there with his pants around his ankles again at some point. Standing in the middle of the hallway hoping somebody runs into him.
I've seen the creepy guy in the hallway
Which
before, and
direction
I'm
was he
just like,
facing?
he was facing the window, the mirrors rather. So like this is shaped like this, and the sinks were here. So he was standing about here, facing towards the mirrors, so he could see his reflection as he tucked in.
Okay, so he wanted someone to come face to face with him. I guess it could be worse if he was turning the other way
Yeah,
and
that
was
could have
kind of
been.
pushing his butt out,
I mean,
and was just hoping someone would come around the corner and ram him in the ass.
here's what got me. He had the courtesy to ensure that if you opened the door, you would not see him in the bathroom. You have to literally turn the corner and almost smack right into him.
Yeah.
So at least he kept it so that no ladies accidentally saw him as they entered their bathroom that was right next door to this. I don't know. It, man, I don't understand some people. I really don't.
Yeah, that's definitely not normal behavior. You should not be standing in the middle of a bathroom getting dressed if you're over the age of like 4.
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't understand people. That's what it comes down to. And on that note, welcome to episode 162 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recorded live on June 7th, 2015. I'm going to call it I Just Don't Understand People, will be this week's episode title, because it relates to my poop story, which isn't really a poop story, but a bathroom story that got tied in with poop somehow.
Well, you added in an extra poop story.
Well, I know what people like. I mean, you've listened to Crimson
Oh,
Comet. It's all about the
sure.
poop jokes.
That's true. People do love just a good old-fashioned poop joke.
It appeals to the immature side that we have in us, I think is what it is.
Which I'm constantly reminded of. My roommate, he has a 4-year-old kid, and literally, it's still the funniest thing in the world for him to walk up behind somebody and go, "You farted," and he thinks it's the funniest shit in the world. Yeah,
so,
it's a good constant reminder of where all of our humor really comes from.
So, yeah, it reminds me, there's a radio show I listen to. It's called Lex and Terry. They have a bit called Head Fart, where they literally have people take their cell phones and record themselves farting on people's heads unaware. So, like, they'll do it to their kids or their wives and things like that. And it's hilarious to hear the different reactions. Some people just start laughing because they think it's hilarious. The wives are generally grossed out. And the kids, it's really just a toss-up. Some of them are like, oh, that's nasty, or that's hilarious, and they make a fart noise back. But farts are universal. You don't have to be mature or immature. You just have to be a person to find them funny sometimes. That's deep. It's deep and introspective, guys.
Yep, farts are funny.
Pretty much.
Universal rules. Sex sells. Farts are funny. Nobody gets out alive.
Some people get out alive.
Nobody gets out alive. Eventually, we all die. Nobody gets out of this alive.
Not unless you're like Vandal Savage. He's immortal.
So far. I'll find a way to kill that fucker. Eventually.
All he has to do is outlast you.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Everything else at DC's falling apart.
Oh, yeah. I don't even have that as my news of the week this week. I figured we'd get into it later. Oh, man. But let's go into our news of the week while we're talking about it then.
Let's do it.
And for those that are listening live, I'm going to edit this out to the later podcast. I did a bit last week where I was putting the bumps into the live show. Well, I just upgraded computers, and I don't have the rig set up right to do that. So hopefully next week again, I'll start dumping the bumps live into the podcast again. That's an exclusive just for you guys that listen live, because it won't exist unless I...
Chris's tech.
You're going to steal my tech? That's not
Stole
cool.
your tech. Your shit's not working like it was last week.
It's because I haven't installed all the right apps I need. But let's go into, like I said, news of the week, and I'm going to go first since I was talking tech. Let's talk a little more tech. And Microsoft has announced the release date for Windows 10. And I just lost it in the story I had popped up. Oh, there we go. July 29th, Windows 10 will launch for everyone to get. OEMs will get it shortly thereafter. And why that's kind of a big deal is if you run a Windows 7 or Windows 8 system right now, you might have noticed a little pop-up on your system tray with a little upgrade to Windows 8 button. Windows 10 rather. They have already started giving people the heads up that Windows 10, like we've said before, is a free download for anyone running Windows 7 or Windows 8 right now. And if you click that little invite button in the bottom right-hand corner of your computer, you can sign up now. You can get Windows 10. It'll download in the background, and then on the 29th of July, you can choose to install it that day or any day thereafter for the next 364 days and have it be free. So basically the takeaway here is Windows 10, it's free for everyone to upgrade to right now for a year after it drops. If you wait 366 days after the launch date, you're going to have to pay. The interesting thing they did say also, you will be able to roll back from Windows 10 fairly easily if you decide you don't like it. But from all impressions I've gotten, especially from people running the current beta versions, it's pretty good. They're having some driver issues and stuff like that, but it's not a bad system.
No, and driver issues is always a given with the new
Yeah.
interface. But yeah, knowing that the evens and odds for Microsoft, 7 was the good one, 8's the piece of shit. We're skipping 9, which means 10 is the good one.
Right. So what's also really interesting in some of this is I know a lot of like cord cutters and stuff that use Windows Media Center, or that they use that software suite rather. They should know that if you upgrade to Windows 10, Windows Media Center will no longer exist. And part of the little upgrade tool that Microsoft does when you check that you want to get Windows 10, it will run through your computer and do a compatibility check and tell you what applications will no longer work or no longer exist, what driver conflicts there might be. And I haven't done it on my new machine yet because I haven't got the updates installed to do it. But when I did that on my other laptop that's probably about 3.5, 4 years old, pretty much everything I wanted to use was supported still.
Cool.
Where it also gets really interesting is Windows 10 is also going to work on all the Windows tablets and stuff too. It'll also be going to the Xbox, so everything will be running Windows 10. I'm intrigued. And I haven't gotten to talk computer tech on here for a while, so that's kind of fun. One last thing. If you're worried about Windows 10 beating up your system, Microsoft's guidance is if you can run Windows 8 right now, you're probably going to be good to go. But here's the minimum system requirements for Windows 10, which is going to be impressive, because I'll explain why in a minute. Processor is 1 gigahertz or faster, not bad. 1 gig of RAM if you're running a 32-bit processor, or 2 gigs if you have a 64-bit. 16 gigs of hard drive space available. A graphics card that supports DirectX 9 or higher. A Microsoft account with internet access, and a screen that has a resolution of at least 1024 by 768. So pretty much like most everything that you've bought in the last 5 to 8 years could probably run Windows 10.
Yeah, I,
That's
I
the
think
scary thing.
I think my PC that's 6 years old could actually go from 7 to 10 then.
I,
Possibly. I think
yeah.
it meets all of those minimum requirements.
I was wondering if my netbook could do it, and I think the only thing holding it back is that the screen resolution of my like 8-year-old, not 8-year-old, probably about 5-year-old netbook is not 1024 by 768. It's less than that, which is kind of mind-boggling, though. I mean, and I think someone can confirm this for me if they want, but I think if you went and looked back, these might actually be less less powerful requirements than you had on something like Vista when the upgrade came out.
Oh yeah, 'cause like Vista and 8 are much more graphics heavy, right?
Right. I mean, this is saying you have to have 1 gig of RAM available. Holy crap. That's not to say it's not going to run super slow if you're on 1 gig of RAM, probably, but still, it will
Very.
actually run.
Damn, yeah, that makes I'm since yeah, if the rollback feature works really well, I might actually try upgrading my PC from 7 to 10 just to see.
Right. And my plan right now is I will do the update on my laptop and play with that for a week or two before I decide whether to do it to my main machine. And I will probably also wait to see what some of the other Gonna Geekers experience, because I'm pretty sure that Steven Jondre will probably update fairly quick. And my guess is Stargate Pioneer will also update fairly quickly.
That's true. We have a lot more tech savvy guys than me for sure in the network. It'd probably be a good idea. I'll wait 2 months. I'll listen to all the Gonna Geek episodes and listen to them complain or talk about what's good, and then that'll tell me whether or not I can upgrade, especially if I've got a year to do it.
Yeah, so the 29th of July is a Wednesday. So the next Gonna Geek podcast would be on the 4th of June, or 4th of August, rather. And that's probably where you'll get to hear a bunch of cursing, because it'll have been out for about a week. And I'm sure somebody will have tried it by that point in time.
Someone will be angry.
Probably, yeah. In fact, it might even be JS that does it too, because JS is pretty up on his tech stuff.
Nice. Hey, I got my lower third to work on my Chromebook. That's about as good as I can do.
That's success, man. That's success. Or something. I don't know.
Or something.
But that's my down in the weeds tech news this week. So I'm going to toss to Anthony. He's probably got something that's a little less techy but more fun. What do you got for us?
Definitely less techy, but more fun. We actually had a news article that was the news of the week, and then basically overnight it changed to a different news article. And so this is now the story that most females don't want to hear the title of. Jason Statham pulls out, and it's of Daredevil season 2. They had apparently there were heavy negotiations going on, and it was the big news and the huge rumor was that Statham was talking to Marvel. going to be Bullseye in Daredevil season 2, which would be utterly fucking fantastic.
Oh, that'd
We
be
all know
amazing.
you put Statham on film, he makes fight scenes look good. He can play, he could play a psychopath real well. Somebody actually did a picture of the Colin Farrell Bullseye overlaid over the Netflix Daredevil background with Statham with the bullseye in the forehead, which looked kind of cute. But yeah, apparently as soon as the rumors started leaking, they said pretty much that destroyed negotiations, and there's no confirmation of whether or not you know like the popularity of the rumors made his agent go, okay, well now we want twice as much money, or if something else happened, whatever it was. But yeah, apparently they went from deep in negotiations, like being very close to signing Statham. The rumors come out, and then within like 12 hours, they shut the whole thing down, and now Marvel's looking at other people. And
Oh
then
crap.
quoted in a what was it? Was it a magazine article? Statham said, this is a quote from Jason Statham. He took a pot shot at Marvel as things were falling apart, saying, I could take my grandma, put her in a cape, and then put her in a green screen, and then have stunt doubles come in and do all the action. Anybody can do it. Was yet Statham told I-400 Kelsey? I don't know what the fuck that is.
Was it a
Says
radio
they're
station or
relying,
something?
maybe. It says they're relying on stunt doubles and green screen and $200 million budgets. It's all CGI created. To me, that's not authentic. Which I think is another reason that it would have been awesome to have him on Daredevil, because it is the street level show. Because you have Charlie what's his face with the hallway fight, and for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, I mean it's this fucking amazing. What is it? It's like a 6 minute sequence.
Yeah,
That's
6 to 8 minutes. That's
uncut.
just straight
Yeah,
up beat down.
and it's one dude fighting like 15 people in and out of a hallway, and it's very well done. If there's I mean I don't believe the real actor himself cuts out for a stunt double at any point. It appears to be him the entire time, and he's probably fighting stunt doubles because it's all no name henchmen. But yeah, for a long ass sequence like that, it was super realistic. Nobody gets one punch, one shot, and knocked the fuck out. Like everybody keeps getting back up and keeps fighting him more and more and more. And like there's points, I love it because there's a point where he's literally, because I mean he's not looking at the guys coming at him, so he's relying on his senses to tell when they're near. And at one point he leans against the wall and he has his hands down and he's just so exhausted from fighting. It's like, okay, I'm gonna wait till this guy gets close enough to hit me before I react. And you can tell it's not that he's trying to show off, it's because he's so fucking tired he doesn't want to lift his hands. And in a world where that's the type of fight choreography we're getting, I think Statham would have loved working on the show, which is probably the most disappointing part of these news, is that they're apparently everything fell apart real quick, and we're not going to get Jason Statham as Bullseye.
So I like the way some blogs are trying to spin it like it's because this news leaked out that Jason Statham's not going to do it now. And I was like, because like
Well,
now everyone knows that he was interested, Marvel was interested, but with the fan reaction being so positive, he's going to want more money, and we don't want to pay that. And
yeah,
I was
which
like,
I mean,
really?
yeah, I mean, and there's no telling what actually happened in the negotiation room. But I mean, I could definitely, I mean, if you're Jason Statham agent, and the rumor comes out, and all of a sudden it's a trending topic on Twitter, it's fucking all over Facebook, and like it's instant positive crowd reaction. I mean, you can definitely, if you're sitting down at a negotiation table, you're going to use that to your advantage and say, okay, you wanted to give my customer, my client $1 million, now we want five. And
You're not going to get that for
depending on what
TV.
the situation was, well, yeah. But I'm just throwing random numbers out. But I mean, they would have a something very positive on their side for the negotiation table. But at the same time, it's like one of those things. It's like, well, you can either have a ton of money or you can do this job. Like, sometimes you have to pick.
Yeah.
Now the only problem is, yeah, who do we get as Bullseye? Because whoever it is not going to be Jason Statham, and so whoever it is going to be compared to Jason Statham, which that's going to sucker whichever actor it is.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Because everyone's going to be like, where the hell did Jason Statham go?
Yeah.
I heard he was going to be on this, and everyone's going to be like, what are you talking about? Jason Statham? No, man, he's not coming. And then
Nope.
I'm bummed because that was almost perfect casting.
Yeah, it would have been good.
He's been fantastic. Good's not
And
even
they
a
had
strong enough word. I mean, the dude is
Daredevil fighting.
yeah, he's a legit ass kicker, Jason Statham. He does incredible stunts and things like that. Look at all of his movies and things he's done. The fight scenes are fun. And combine that with the stunt coordinators and the fights we've gotten in Daredevil season 1, imagine how
Yeah.
cool that Daredevil Bullseye fight would have been.
Oh, it would have been fantastic. And yeah, and speaking of space, though, I have to say one thing real quick. Hollywood, I'm once again ashamed of you. Did you see that they're rebooting the Transporter?
No, I'm not
Are you
shocked, but
fucking Jason Statham's like he's still a working actor in Hollywood. It's not like they even waited like I mean, it's bad enough that they want to do The Crow, a series that's designed to always be a new character. They're like, no, we want to reboot the character Eric Draven, which you should never do because fucking Brandon Lee died making that film. But literally, Jason Statham's still a working action star, and they're gonna reboot a franchise that he was the main star of. What the fuck?
yeah,
Like
I
the
don't
dude's
get
not even
that.
old yet.
That makes
Fucking
no sense to
Hollywood.
me. Yeah, that's the best way of looking at it is effing Hollywood.
Fucking Hollywood.
They don't know what the hell they're doing. Those damn bastards. Yada yada. Profanity
Yeah,
inserted here.
exactly. But yeah, so as far as I know, the rumors are still going for Ryan Phillippe as possibly Iron Fist. So I mean, yeah, the last like really big catch is probably going to be whoever gets to play Bullseye in Daredevil, and especially after that first season. I mean, hot damn, whoever the actor is going to have a lot of eyes on him.
Yeah, I don't even know who to cast right now because I got so caught up in that Jason Statham idea.
Oh, says it would have been good. Damn, it would have been good.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean,
there's a, there's a lot of actors out there, and and given the right time and treatment with fight choreography, you can make them look real good in a fight sequence.
that's true. I mean, and they picked out of nowhere with the cast they've got in that show. Nobody was expecting any of those folks, and they all knocked it out of the park. So they do have trust earned. I guess is
Indeed.
the best way of putting it.
I need to watch that show all the way through again. It's so good. I put it at number two. The Flash is still number one. The Flash is the best first season of comic book TV ever. Daredevil Netflix is number two.
Oh man, that's tough. That's like asking me to pick between two children I would theoretically have.
Yeah, but one of the kids is fun and the other one's dark and brooding. I go for fun.
So we've got the Addams family here. We've got Pugsley and we've got Wednesday.
Or you got Marvel versus DC films if you want to get back into that argument again.
Actually, real quick, I hadn't thought about this. Chris Hansen had mentioned, didn't they already do a reboot of the Transporter with the TV show? I haven't watched any of it, but is that in the same world or is it a
I,
reboot?
I think it's another reboot because yeah, I think it was I was flipping on Netflix or Hulu and I saw the Transporter TV series. I'm like, are you what really?
I think it's on like
Like they already
TNT or
did
something like that.
maybe, but yeah, I mean, I guess they're just making turning Transporter into its own franchise world apparently.
Well, I mean, they've
Yeah,
done it
I
with all
haven't seen the
sorts of
TV
stuff.
show. I saw an ad for it and didn't even realize it was a thing. And I don't even know if I don't think the guy in the TV show is the guy that's the same. It's not the same guy in the new movie. So
Is it
yeah,
not?
it's like literally like there's gonna be three action heroes that are all the transporter. It's a cool.
Huh.
What the fuck? I wonder if they're all different characters. Because at least if they're different characters, I would find that much less offensive on like the creative side. Like if
Yeah.
it's a different ex-military dude that does the same job as Statham's character from the first four films, but if it's two other actors on a TV show and a movie series and they're both playing the same guy that he played, that is fucking pathetic.
Yeah, I
That's
think
that's
so.
poor writing. So yeah, at least hopefully they're different characters. I'll have to look at the synopsis of the TV show. I haven't seen it though.
I think it's on like TNT or USA or something. I just saw a commercial for it one day and I was like, there's no Jason Statham. Why do I care?
That's kind of the way I feel. Yeah.
What do I know though, right?
Well, if it makes money, they'll keep putting money into it.
Well,
That's
ain't
how
that the
Hollywood
truth?
works.
Ain't that the truth?
Aren't they filming Transformers 19 right now? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 6?
Yeah, here's the thing I saw in that there's like 12 people in the writer's room for Transformers 4 or 5 or whatever the hell it is. I'm like, 12 people? How the hell do you need that many writers for a movie? Maybe I don't understand the business, but that seems like a lot of different voices in a room.
Yeah, it's far too many cooks in that kitchen. Well, it's 12 people that don't really want to have their name on the Transformers film, but also want the Michael Bay money.
I don't know. Kirkman's on that staff,
Eh,
so who knows?
I love Robert Kirkman, but I don't even think he could save Transformers. Just a bunch
Touche.
of shiny metal slamming into each other. I'm excited to see TMNT too because we have Rocksteady, Bebop, and motherfucking Arrow playing
Stephen
Casey
Amell.
Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'm,
gonna
I'm
be cool.
excited for that. And I did see a photo of Bebop. I don't know the actor's a large black dude, but he's rocking a big old septum piercing. Like he looks creepy. And then yeah, Rocksteady is freaking Sheamus from the WWE. He's gonna look awesome as a rhino. It'll be the darkest his skin tone has ever been.
Yeah, probably. That
That
dude is super pale.
that boy looks like a jar of mayonnaise with a big red haircut.
So I did have some other cool news I ran into this week. I did want to share. I was hoping Naki would be here for this one, but I'll share it now. Maybe we'll get her opinion this week. I know she's been getting a lot more into Steam gaming and things like that because she's got her new rig, which allows her to play more games, has a bigger
She's
monitor, all that.
now part of the PC Master Race.
She is part of the PC Master Race, according to the Adahay, as he called it. So I know she uses Steam a lot, and we've talked about Steam on here a lot because Steam does some incredibly awesome sales. You can find good games for really cheap. And in fact, I've been buying some lately, but that's neither here nor there. The cool thing that Steam has done, they're owned by Valve. Valve has come out and they have now put in place a refund policy for all games for any reason. You can return them provided it has been less than 14 days since you bought it and you've spent less than 2 hours playing that game. So basically, they have set up the system now so you can make, I'm not sure I'm going to like, say, Bioshock Infinite. Let me give it a try. You can download it, play it, and as long as you say, I don't like this after in less than 14 days and 2 hours of gameplay, you can return it to them. This takes you
Dang.
back to like the day and age of having demos for games and things like that. It used to be you could get a disc like, oh, it's the new Wolfenstein demo. I'm going to play this, and you get like a level of the game to see if you liked it. But now you can buy it and then get your money back. And it also applies for things like DLC bundles, which include things like skins and things like that. This
Oh,
is awesome.
nice.
This is really, really cool. Now,
That's
since people are probably going to try and game the system, Valve has
of
said
course.
that they will keep an eye on things. And if people are abusing it, the refund's not going to go through. Like for instance, if you buy a bunch of games and they're all returned after like an hour and a half to 2 hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes of gameplay in less than 14 days, they're going to go, okay, you're basically using this as a GameFly type system. Yeah, you're not getting refunds
Yeah.
anymore. But for the normal fan who just wants to try something, like, ooh, do I like this? This is fantastic. Kudos to you, Valve. And this is another one that if Adahay were here would be giving many, many positive comments because we all know he loves Valve/Steam
Yeah.
a
I've
lot.
I've never had a problem using that system. It took me a bit to get everything set up on my PC when I finally turned on my Steam account when I won that Netflix or not Netflix, Nerdist uh, game bundle. But yeah, once I got everything set up, like it's such an easy way to use like a digital library of games, and it works so well. Fucking Steam's awesome.
So Willie's in the chat room and he goes console all the way because I know Willie's a console gamer. He regularly plays stuff after the
Nice.
podcast on his Twitch stream. So I'm a console gamer too. What I would love to see happen is that Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo see this policy that Valve has put in place and do something similar for digital content purchases on their platforms. I think it would be fantastic if I could be like, oh, I want to try this Xbox Live game, download it and return it if I don't like it. Because
That,
sometimes they don't have demos for these games. Now, to be fair, some
yeah.
of them do have demos, and if you have a demo, I'll play the demo if I'm curious. But it's not quite the same. If there's no demo and all I can do is look at a YouTube video, I'm probably less likely to stick around and play the game. I think Valve is going to see an uptick in purchases in
Oh,
the long run.
definitely.
In the short term, it'll probably skew a lot. In the long run, I still think it's going to trend positive. But there's going to be a lot of people trying new games and be like, okay, I actually like this. And on the flip side, a lot of people buying new games and forgetting to return it before the 14-day window.
Of course. Or they'll play it for 2 hours and 1 minute and be like, shit, I can't return this and I don't really like
Right, so
it.
I didn't see anything in the article itself. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of appeal thing. So someone can be like, "Oh man, I just didn't realize I got involved in a story mission. I went a couple minutes over. What can I do?" I would
Yeah.
hope there's some kind of appeal thing where it's obvious they weren't trying to play for like 4 or 5 hours, but they might have gone a couple minutes over because they're in the middle of something, or
Yeah, 'cause you
maybe
got to figure
there's
it's also like when does the timer start? When you first launch the game or when you actually start playing?
right.
You
I did
know?
not see a lot in the article I'm reading. It's entirely possible you go on the Steam site and there might be a lot more details. I just did not find them because I was going high level. So sorry, guys.
Yeah. I'm betting there'll be a lot more details in the actual refund policy.
Yeah,
So a lot of times, yeah, I'll load up a game, get it started, and go grab a drink or whatever. It might be a couple minutes before I come back. If you don't count that time in your head when you're thinking about how long you've been playing, that'll make a huge difference for some people.
Yeah, so if you guys are curious about more on that policy, check out the show notes after the show publishes, and it links directly to the Kotaku article that I was getting my news from, which then I
Nice.
think also links directly to the Steam page announcing that. I would read it right now, but it's kind of hard for me to multitask and read an article and move
He's
along.
down to one screen. He's
I'm down
cornered
to one
himself.
screen, guys. This is killing me. All right, so brief aside. Normally, when I podcast, I was using my laptop before, so it would sit right in front of me. I had a 15-inch monitor, and then I had an external 20-inch monitor that I would keep to the side right here. So if you've watched our show before, you've probably seen me looking to the side like this. It doesn't look like I'm actually looking at the audience because I'm not. I'm actually reading the article for what's coming up in the show notes, things like that. My right monitor is where I dump everything for doing the show. I'm without that right now, so I've got my 20-inch monitor and I've got like windows stacked on top of each other. So we've been doing this show. I've probably seen Anthony for less than 5 minutes because I've got other windows open, pulling stuff up, things like that. It's why I keep
This is
checking down occasionally.
the problematic part when you switch to one screen.
Yeah.
I do have something though if we're going to talk about something that steals all of our money.
Oh, I'm all about things
Steam.
stealing our money. What's that?
I have two other windows up that I'm looking at. I have Kickstarter and I have Humble Bundle.
Uh oh. Uh oh. What's in the humble bundle now?
I'm gonna start with Kickstarter because there's 3 days left, and I just wanted to say thank you to anybody that went on there and did pop onto the cash and carry Kickstarter. They have jumped above 7 grand, so they're just shy of 300 backers. They're at almost twice as much money as Sean Pryor originally requested for the Kickstarter. So it's got just a ton of bonus add-ons and stretch goals that he's added, including once they pass the $7,000 mark. He added another giant bundle of DRM free digital comics. So I think now at this point, if you pledge more than $10, I think you get something like 20, 30 different comics on top of
Holy
your
crap.
physical copy of Cash and Carry. Because yeah, the $6,000 goal was you get DRM free copies of all of Sean's out of print comics work from PKD Media, which that alone I think is 6 or 7 comics. And then now the $7,000 goal is a bunch of comics that I think he said he read in college. So yeah, for $10 you can get a big ass stack of comics on the Cash and Carry Kickstarter, and right now there's still 3 days to go as of today. And yeah, I mean it's way past its goal. There's no way $3,000 worth of people are going to pull out. So it will be funded in 3 days, and it will be a book that goes to print and shows up in the mail. And yeah, I've never backed something from Sean Pryor that didn't get delivered. So that I will give you my guarantee. You will get a book if you back this Kickstarter.
It's the
He's not that
Bachman
crazy
guarantee.
guy. Yeah, he's not that crazy guy that's going to get the books and then burn them because he has a nervous stress breakdown.
Ugh.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, Humble Bundle wants to steal more of my money. There's 3 days left on this as well. They did another IDW Top Shelf Comics Bundle. This
Ooh.
one, you have a Richard Starks Parker story by Darwin Cook. You've got a Nemo book. You've got The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Volume 3 by Alan Moore. God is Disappointed in You. I haven't even heard of that one. On the Pay More Than Average bundle, there's 2 more Parker stories. Lost Dogs by Jeff Lemire. And then the big one, which is up to now 1962, if you pay the average price plus $5, it's another Parker story and another Nemo story, and March Book 2, which I think March Book 1, yeah, is in the original part of the bundle. The amazing thing though is because it's 3 tiers for Humble Bundles. The first part of the bundle includes Lock and Key volumes 1, 2, and 3. If you pay more than $14.62 right now, Lock and Key volumes 4 and 5. If you pay the 1962 average price plus $5 for more, so you get everything, you also get Lock and Key Volume 6 Alpha and Omega. So basically for $20, you get the entire Lock and Key Joe Hill, Gabriel Rodriguez fucking amazing book, and then a ton of other comics on top of it.
Yes, that's what I was going to
Literally,
ask you if that was the full
yeah,
run, and if that's the case, that's
yeah,
cheaper than buying all the trades. Just to
I do believe, yeah, Volume 6 is the end of Lock and Key because I think it's the full thing, and I will check on that here just to be sure. But I do believe Volume 6 Alpha and Omega is the last book. And so yeah, and for $20, like one of the hardcovers of the beautiful hardcovers they made for Lock and Key is $20, and this is all 6 of them. It's not, you don't get to own a hardcover, but you get to pay you get to read the entire story.
yeah, it's not bad.
So yeah, Kickstarter, Humble Bundle, Steam, they all want your library money.
Everyone wants my
Lunch,
money,
lunch money,
man.
lunch money.
Marvel wants my money to make me read all the Secret Wars stuff. DC wants my money to try and read Convergence. Everybody wants my money, you know. To be honest, I haven't read much. I've got Secret Wars #1 still sitting here to read, and the only thing I have read was Spider-Man Renew Your Vows #1 because I had to read it, and it was interesting. Have
I
you
loved
read?
it.
Have you read it already?
Yes, I have it in my stack for what we're doing right now. Yeah, I've
So,
got Marvel's getting my money. DC is not.
yeah, so I'll save my opinion on Renew Your Vows #1 for the end of the show. Which hell, we've still got plenty of time. We're only 35 minutes in.
Oh,
Shit.
believe me, I got enough comics to talk about to fill up 20 minutes for the what are you getting into?
So the question I was going to give you then is, are you bummed out by all of the news articles coming out now where Marvel's already revealing things that are happening post Secret Wars, like the new Iron Man book at least, which
Uh,
confirms that Tony Stark is still Iron Man, revealing who
I'll
the new Wolverine is.
I'll refer back to what was it 3 episodes ago when I
Hmm.
nerd raged about the Avengers team
Yeah,
before the start of Secret Wars.
yeah. I understand what they're doing, and I know there's some retailers. I saw a really interesting post from a retailer up in Pittsburgh that he'd written on his blog, and he goes, it's their books. They can advertise it how they want. But he goes, I wonder if they realize how hard they're making it for me to sell some of the things going on now because they're getting excited, people excited about stuff that's going to happen 3 to 4 months from now. And they're like, well, I can't get that book. I'm just going to wait. I don't care about the event going on now. And it seems like a legit concern because people are like, I want to read the new Wolverine. We're like, well, it's not here yet. You got to wait another couple months.
Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous.
It's the nature of the advertisement. So I won't talk about the post Secret Wars stories. We'll save those for closer to the end of Secret Wars because I have some stashed away here.
Okay, and just to confirm, there's one book called The Golden Age, which is a collection of 6 one-shots, but that's as far as I can see here on the Wikipedia, that's outside the main story of Lock and Key. So if you get volumes 1 through 6, that is the entire run of Lock and Key, beginning
Okay,
to end. Yeah,
interesting.
so all of that for $20. Like the other books in that humble bundle are just bonus. And I'll tell you this: one volume of Lock and Key, you won't feel bad if you spend $20 on it, even on a digital copy. That story is fantastic, and Gabriel's artwork is also gorgeous. The book he does weird things. It's one of those ones where they take advantage of the comic book format. There's a cut sequence of the little kid. I think it's Bodhi's head in the book, where you
Ooh,
see like all the thoughts of what's going on in this little kid's head, and all the like parts of his brain are labeled. It's like like an old school cartoon, but it's done in such a beautiful way. It's just so fitting for the character that you see like all the little things that he's into, and they're all little labeled parts of his brain. And it's one of those things that really only works like it works fantastic in a comic book.
I've heard good things. Naki's talked about it before. You've talked about it. It's on my list to get to, but
Yeah, and for
I
those
got.
that may not know, Joe Hill is Stephen King's kid. So this guy has writing in his blood.
And who was it that told me this? I might have been Naki. I can't remember. Joe Hill actually knows how to end a story appropriately.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Yeah. So speaking of things, it's also going to cost us money. I saw a little news article over on Collider. They have announced the Lego sets that are coming out for Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Oh no.
Yes, and most of them, there's no spoilers in them. It's just names and what they are. But the thing that has me most intrigued is the top Lego set is the new Millennium Falcon that is 1,300 Lego pieces, and I kind of want it just because I don't have a Falcon. But
Oh God. How
yeah,
much is it?
it is $150, which is not terrible for what I was
Oh, that's
expecting.
not bad.
Yeah. So
I
let
would
me go.
drop $150 to build a Millennium Lego Falcon. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
on
that's
that.
not bad. So the list of things that came out, there's only I want to say 7 or 8. There's the first one we've got Ray's Speeder, which is going to be $20. A First Order Snow Speeder for $40. So we already figured there'd be a snow scene of some kind because we've seen the snow troopers. So evidently we're going to see snow speeders again. A First Order Special Force TIE Fighter. So that's probably those TIE fighters we saw in the trailer that had like the gray panels, the gray and white panels
Yeah,
on them.
they're
Uh,
cool looking.
Poe's X-Wing Starfighter, so the new X-Wing will be there. That's only $80. A First Order Transporter, Kylo Ren's command shuttle, and finally the Millennium Falcon. And they better have Han Solo and Chewbacca minifigs with that Millennium Falcon.
Oh, that's pretty much
They
guaranteed.
have to.
They'd,
If they
yeah,
don't,
there'd be riots if they don't.
nerd rage, man. I'd rage on them.
Massive nerd rage.
Like, you sons of bitches! I hate
For
you so much.
$150, I think I might be looking forward to building a Millennium Falcon. I haven't bought a Lego set in years, and
Yeah.
that sounds like a
So
blast.
there are no pictures out yet because this news came like leaked from a German website that was just like the names and the set piece and the number of pieces and the prices on these things. So we're going to have to wait until probably 3 months out from Star Wars to see this. If you look at what their trends are with Legos, they tend to release those about 3 to 4 months before the movie and then potentially spoil people. Because
It's coming from a
if
German
you read the
website.
comics
There's a guy.
included if you read the comics included with the Avengers Legos, you could be spoiled on parts of Avengers too.
Very true. I say it's coming out of a German website from the guys that are down the street from the Dutch headquarters of Legos that were just overhearing a conversation in a bar.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it, man. It's Lego news. Gimme, gimme, gimme,
Hell yeah.
gimme. So while we're on Star Wars 7, Variety has revealed who Andy Serkis's character is going to be in Star
Oh
Wars.
yeah.
And his name is Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, I have no idea who that is, and if you hadn't seen it yet, I'll show you guys in screen share. Those that are watching live can see in screen share when I pull this up. If you're listening to the podcast, just pull up our show notes. They'll be in there. This is Andy Serkis in his mocap suit for Star Wars 7. He's literally just a dude sitting in a chair, so God
Yeah.
knows
I
what
saw
he's going
that.
to look like. I'm intrigued. I'm super intrigued, because if there's anyone that can do mocap, it's the best is Andy Serkis.
That's true. He has basically turned that into his own, like a career unlike anybody else. And he does have that kind of Senator Palpatine look as he's sitting there.
Yes.
And he's Supreme Leader Snoke.
Snoke. I love that the fact they've continued to use George Lucas's weird ass names, and Snoke is Snoke. Everyone's assuming he is the leader of the First Order in the new Star Wars. Now, I have no idea what any of that means. And the only reason I bring this up is because it's an officially released photo. I don't mind doing that. On this show, you guys, if you want to do Star Wars spoilers, I will happily take off my headphones when we get into it, but I'm trying to remain spoiler-free for Star Wars 7.
All I know is there's a Chrome Trooper, and that's pretty fucking
That's
cool.
pretty badass, man.
Well, especially because I believe it's a chick as well.
Yeah, we think so. It hasn't been
Yeah, it's like
confirmed.
a female lieutenant, and yeah, she's a trooper that's in just head to toe chrome. So she's the coolest kid on the block.
Right. So a couple other Star Wars notes I had on here is Lawrence Kasdan's been doing some interviews with Variety and Vanity Fair. He talked about Lando Calrissian and said, right now there's no Lando in the movie, but Lando I don't think is finished in any way, shape, or form. So we
And
might get Lando in the second movie.
Lando's new comic series is starting as well. He's
That's
getting
true.
his own miniseries.
Do we need to talk about the Star Wars 6 reveal later in this show? Have you read Star Wars number 6?
Oh, no, I'm not reading that book.
Oh,
I got
okay.
the first issue and I loved it, and I think I got the second issue, but I have too many books on my pull list, so I couldn't add it.
Well,
So if you want to talk about it, that's fine.
Yeah, we might talk about that here in a minute. I had a couple other points. As soon as I find where, see, this is what happens. I go back to one window and I can't find anything.
I'm lost.
Simon Pegg let slip that Daniel Craig is a secret cameo in Episode 7. I don't know if anyone had heard that.
James Bond is in Star Wars?
James Bond is in Star Wars, according to Simon Pegg.
According to Scotty.
Yes.
Okay. That hurts my nerd brain.
He did an interview where he said, I wasn't a stormtrooper. Daniel Craig, he was a stormtrooper. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. So, is he screwing with us, or is it real? I mean, if he's a stormtrooper, you're never even going to know. He's going to have his helmet on the entire time.
This was like 80 people in Hollywood could say, yeah, I did a cameo in Episode 7. I'm a stormtrooper. And there's no way you could say that they weren't.
Yeah. Man, but yeah, I'm intrigued. We might get Lando.
James Bond is in Star Wars.
I want Lando back in Star Wars, and it's kind of nice symmetry if Lando's first appearance was in Episode 5, the second movie in a trilogy. If his first appearance in the next trilogy is in Episode 8, the second movie in the trilogy. Nice symmetry. Nice. But Billy D. Williams got robbed. He should be in this.
I think Billy D. Williams got robbed because he wasn't Two-Face.
Well, there's that, too.
How you play Harvey Dent twice and don't get to play Two-Face once? That's just fucked up.
Yeah, there is that. Bummer, man. Where is the news article I'm trying to find? Okay, so Star Wars. This is going to be a spoiler for the comic if you have not read the current issues of Star Wars ongoing at Marvel. And if you don't want to be spoiled and you're watching live, I'm going to turn on the spoiler tag in my lower third. For anyone else, skip forward about 3 to 4 minutes. That's all we're going to talk about on this one. So, spoilers are coming right now. Issue 6.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, here they come. Revealed Han Solo's wife, Sana Solo. Yes, I said that right.
What?
Han Solo's wife. The lovable
This is a
scoundrel we all
horseshit.
know and love. He's married at this point in time.
Yeah, to Leia.
No, well,
What the fuck?
these books
God
take
damn it,
place
Marvel.
between these books take place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. So who knows what would happen? But if you're watching the show live right
that's
now,
right. I forgot. These are still inside the original trilogy.
these are inside the original trilogy. Here is a picture of Sana Solo, and she comes to save the day. I haven't read it all yet, but I saw the spoiler and wanted to talk about it. What do you think is
Nice.
happening here? Is this Han did a con job in the past and had to marry her for some con, and now they're together? They're legit married?
That
Who knows?
that sounds like 98%. Yeah, that it's a con job, or yeah, it's something that they did in the past to screw somebody else over.
Yeah, she seems fairly pissed off in this statement. She says, he'd just lie. That's the only thing he's ever been good at. I should know. The name is Sana Solo. I'm his wife. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting twist, and where it gets really interesting now is, remember, these comics are canon. So
Yeah,
Han Solo
exactly.
has been married in the movie universe now.
That doesn't mean he's still married, or that he doesn't eventually divorce her and marry Princess Leia.
Yes. And if you think about it from making this fit in the canon, it might explain a little bit why Leia seems to be kind of angry with him in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back and doesn't want much to do with him.
It's because she met his wife.
Because she met his wife.
That works. That works really well. You scruffy looking nerf herder. Who are you calling scruffy looking?
It would be a good explanation for why she's a little hacked off at Han Solo, because they've had this little flirty thing going on in between the movies, and then she meets his wife.
That does. It works really well, actually. I like that. It's fitting.
Definitely an interesting take on it. Now, where it gets really interesting now, and why I think so many people are like, what the hell, is because it is canon. And now there's a lot of
Yeah.
people trying to figure out how to make that fit in. And to be fair, it's the first reveal in like one of the last pages of a comic. There's going to be a lot more that fills in that gap as we get closer to other Star Wars movies like Star Wars 7. So God only knows what it'll actually be, but I'm super intrigued. And for those watching the video, I'm going to flip my Hangout lower third back to normal. So we're off the spoilers now.
All right.
All right, all right, all right. To quote the great Matthew McConaughey.
Who might be Norman Osborn?
Yeah, who might be in a Marvel movie.
That will be super weird if they pull that off. All right, Parker.
Man, I don't know if I see him as Norman Osborn or not. And at the same time, I don't know if I want them to do Norman Osborn right away again, because they built the last two series of Spider-Man movies off Norman Osborn.
Yeah, and they really haven't done him correct yet. I love Willem Dafoe, but the idea that they put him in green Power Ranger armor was just fucking stupid.
Oh man,
They really
yeah,
should
it
have
was.
just painted his face. Willem
Yeah,
Dafoe's face would have been perfect for just a green mask and a purple hat.
it would have been good, man.
If he looked like he stole a 4-year-old's Halloween costume, it would have looked better than the Power Ranger armor they gave him.
Now I'm all sad. Although to be fair, you said Power Rangers. I'm kind of excited for the Power Ranger movie that might be coming up. I
Oh,
don't
they're
know
doing an
why.
actual movie now?
They're doing an actual movie now, and without the original cast. It takes me back to
Well,
my childhood. I kind of want to see it, I'll be honest.
the original cast, aren't they in their 50s?
Well, probably 40s. I mean, a lot of them are big on the convention circuit, but
Yeah.
have you seen a lot of the videos that Jason David Frank's been doing with the Bat and the Sun folks, where they've been doing like the superhero beatdowns, where he's been in there as the White Ranger and the Green Ranger and stuff?
No, I mean, I know of the superhero beatdowns, but I've only seen a couple of them.
If you get the chance, they do some awesome ones where he basically reprises the role of being a Power Ranger, wears the suit and stuff like that, and they do some of the beatdown fights, like the White Ranger versus Raiden from what was that, Mortal Kombat? I think is Raiden.
Raiden? The
Raiden, yeah,
Electric God?
the electric
Yeah,
guy. It's
yeah, Mortal Kombat.
It's really good because if you guys didn't know, I mean, if you watched the old Power Rangers back in the day, you probably knew a lot of those guys had a martial arts background. Jason David Frank, who plays the Green Ranger, he's a former MMA fighter. He runs his own martial arts studio. The guy can do fights, and his fights are pretty friggin' awesome in the superhero beatdown videos.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's been doing martial arts like since he could walk.
Yeah. And he's supposedly one of the nicest people you meet on the fan circuit, too.
From what I could see, he was at Lexington when I was there. Like, you didn't see him walking anywhere without like kids around him, and like he was always just signing autographs as he was moving along. Like, it wasn't, him like pushing through a crowd with a big security or whatever. Like, he'd have one or two people from the con with him, getting him somewhere, and he'd always be grabbing things for kids and signing them and handing stuff back to people. Like, it
Yeah.
just seemed like he was constantly signing autographs for people.
He's one of those guys I follow on Instagram because it's really cool just to see a bunch of his pictures he takes on the con circuit with his fans and different things like that. It's one of those guys that seems to get the fact that, hey, without these guys, I don't have much of a career. They're what's keeping me famous. Is the fans loving me.
There you go. Some people understand that.
Who'd thunk it, right?
You know.
Who'd have thunk it?
Excuse me.
Sure. I got one last news story. We can start wrapping things up. This one is one that's kind of a bit of a bummer. And Drowsman's asking in the chat room why I'm a sad man child. Well, there's lots of reasons, but here's one of them. Samuel L. Jackson, he will not be in Captain America: Civil War, according to an interview he did.
What? No Nick Fury?
No Nick Fury.
I was gonna say what they signed him to. What was it? A 13-picture deal?
9 or 13, I can't remember.
So I mean, it was a big number, but at this point, they're getting close to like the end of that contract. I'll bet Kevin Feige and them are kind of figuring out, it's okay, if we need Sam in these 6 films, we can't have him in this one or this one.
So,
So they're getting down to the point where they have him set for a specific number, and they're probably trying to use those as well as they can before they have to renegotiate a fucking contract with him.
right. According to Geek Tyrant, he has 2 films left in his 9-picture deal, but Samuel Jackson has said in multiple interviews that he's looking for a contract extension to appear in more Marvel films in the future. Now the question is, how much more money would he want to do that? But it seems like he's open to doing more. And in all honesty, they probably don't need him in Civil War because they've got every other goddamn person in the MCU in that movie.
True. It is most definitely Avengers 2.5.
Yes.
If you haven't seen the cast list, it is the next Avengers film. It's just called Captain America.
Well, I mean, they've even announced Ant-Man's going to be in it too. So, like, folks that we haven't even seen in a movie yet, superheroes are going to be in that one. Sorry?
Which Ant-Man?
Well, I would
Paul Rudd?
It's Paul Rudd.
Flashback.
It's Paul Rudd, and he's been on set. Now, we do know also that Haley Atwell is appearing in some way, shape, or form in Civil War, because if you follow her on Twitter, you probably saw the pictures she took with people on set at Civil War.
Oh, yeah, Haley Atwell.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Haley Atwell. I can't wait for season 2 of Agent Carter.
She's just a gorgeous woman.
Yeah, and good actor.
Oh yeah, she's an amazing actress. The show was fun. I loved Agent Carter. I thought it was a little slow, like right at the beginning, but I mean, that chick kicks ass on camera, makes the 1940s shit look good. They did a fantastic job, setting the show in old school New York. I loved it.
Did you see the photo she posted on social media of what her driver's license from California looks like?
Yeah, because she went as
Agent
Peggy
Carter
to get her fucking photo done. Yeah, her license is awesome.
How fantastic is that?
It's like how what could the DMV do? Tell you to not look like a character you've played? Like that would be a fun thing to do if you're an actor in Hollywood. Come directly from a photo shoot or something, or a day of work where you're fully done in hair and makeup as a character, and then go get your driver's license photo done. Like if I was Colin Farrell, I would totally have a driver's license photo as Bullseye, with the frickin' thing in the forehead. Like that would be so cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, actually. I think that should be the new trend, is all these actors going to go get their DMV photos taken as those characters now.
Exactly. As I mean, they're not going to let you get away with a mask or something, so it's only going to work for certain characters. But yeah, that would be super funny for a lot of different actors to pull off.
I'm trying to think who else would be a good one to do that with. I don't know. Steve Rogers. I mean, I haven't go Steve Rogers easily enough just to comb his hair the right way.
Yeah, he just has to comb his hair and shave. Friggin', it would have been cool if Liev Schreiber did it as Sabretooth.
Yeah, that'd have been pretty cool, actually.
It grow their hair out in the fangs, show up your DMV photo, and then just like snarl. That would be cool. I mean, Jackman can do it. He just has to grow out the mutton chops. You
Oh,
have a
that's the last thing I
Wolverine
wanted to bring
driver's
up.
license.
It's been talked about a lot. I can't find the source article. If I do, I'll drop it in the show notes. But we've all heard that Jackman's done after the next Wolverine movie. He's going to retire from it. And part of the reason he said he's doing it is he doesn't know if he can eat another plain chicken breast again.
I
Because
don't
if you've
blame
seen
him.
his physique, he eats a lot of protein and does a lot of work to keep that up. And he's tired of eating bland and just regular food. He wants to be able to eat good food again.
Yeah, which I can't blame him. And honestly, if you haven't really noticed it, go back and watch X1.
Yeah.
X1, like he looked like such a badass when that movie first came out, and that is like the doughiest Hugh Jackman we've ever seen now by comparison. Because every time he plays Wolverine, the dude's older, but he somehow gets in better shape. Like he's been, playing a magic trick with his body that's just unfucking believable for what 12, 13 years now. Like it's amazing what he's done. So yeah, I don't blame him that he's done wanting to eat a plain chicken breast, especially since I'm getting scared because I'm about to start my prep work for Halloween again. And starting July 1st, I no more drinking, no more soda. I only have 2 cheat days scheduled. But from July 1st to October 30th, I'm going to be doing basically plain chicken breast and oatmeal and working out 5 days a week.
I
And
like
it's not
oatmeal,
going to be
so
fun.
I'm a fan of oatmeal. That doesn't sound terrible to me.
It is when you're a person that doesn't like eating breakfast in the first place, and it's going
Oh,
to become
touche.
your second breakfast of the day, and you have to eat basically raw plain oatmeal with flaxseed, with nothing on it or in it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound so great then.
Yeah, that's part of the work. But you know, on the plus side, I was fitted for a torso piece yesterday, which was weird. I was covered in a plastic bag and surrounded in duct tape. And so I have a friend who is a seamstress who is making me a custom Captain America outfit for October this year. So
Nice.
I really need to get in shape because I'm going to have a fucking custom made Captain America outfit to wear to work on Halloween. So yeah, the guts got to go. So no more boozing. Starting July 1st. I've got a couple more weeks. I get to do whatever the fuck I want.
That's not too terrible then.
Because yeah, July, August, September, and October are gonna suck balls. But hopefully it'll be worth it at the end. I've literally got the Chris Evans diet and workout routine downloaded off of Men's Health Fitness. So yeah, I'm gonna be kicking my own ass, and hopefully the right parts of my body will get bigger and the bad parts will get smaller.
Hey man, ladies are gonna like it. The
Hopefully,
ladies are gonna like it. They like Chris Evans, as he's the cut.
exactly.
So if
And
you go
and
the Chris
being
Evans diet,
single, yeah, being single, working out, it's not gonna hurt me.
you need to go the Chris Evans or the Chris Pratt route, and I think you'll be fine. No joke, man.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna go. I'm doing my Andy Dwyer to my Star Lord transformation.
there you go. See, that wouldn't be too bad either. And looking at the time, we do need to start wrapping things up. Long-time listeners to the show, you probably know how we do that. If you're new, here's what we do. We share with you, the listening audience, what we're getting into geek-wise, what we're planning on getting into coming up. Basically, it's our chance to share our nerdy stuff with you and be like, maybe you want to listen too. Maybe you want to be a part of this. So I'm gonna go with Anthony. Well, no, I'll go with myself first. It's tough with two people. I can't figure out the right way to do it because I try and put myself in the middle of these. But I'll go first, and
No
like
more
I
for you.
oh, so I've been getting into a few things this week. I got a new computer that came in this week, which I've been setting up, and it's my new podcasting rig. But not everything is 100% set up yet, so I haven't got everything done right. And you've all heard me bitch about having only one monitor. That will be fixed next week. The second monitor is coming in. What else I've been getting into is, since I've got a PC that can run games, I picked up a couple things on Steam, and I've been playing the Scribblenauts DC Universe version, which is really fun actually, because you can just drop whatever you want into the world. Like I made Bizarro float away because I turned off gravity for him. Stupid stuff like that. It's a really fun game. It's on Steam sale right now for $5. So if you like the Scribblenauts game, this one is a distinctly DC superhero flared version of it, but it's really, really fun. Let's see what else I've been getting into. Getting caught up on some TV shows. The girlfriend is finishing up Doctor Who now, so I get to start her on Battlestar Galactica this week. So I'll be watching a lot of Battlestar coming up, which is probably good for the summer. Let's see what else. I did go last night. We had tickets to a play locally in town. I wouldn't normally bring it up, but it was a very interesting show, a little done by one of the local theater companies here. It was called The Agony and the Ecstasy of Steve Jobs. And it was a combination of telling the backstory of Steve Jobs through different monologues, being forced out of Apple, things like that, mixed with people that went to go investigate the Foxconn plants in China. Now, one of those things appealed to me more than the others when it came into that, but it's actually a really good show. If it's something that would interest you, I know there's lots of independent productions of it going on everywhere because the guy who originally produced this play, he's basically put the script out for free for people to reproduce, to do. They can record it, things like that. You can actually get the original script is available online for the first time he did it. It's The Agony and the Ecstasy of Steve Jobs. Very interesting story. If you didn't know a lot about Steve Jobs' backstory and how Apple products and many other products are manufactured in China, it's kind of eye-opening if you're like me who's actually read up on some of that. It's not necessarily eye-opening, but it's interesting to see everyone around you realize how the iPhones are made, how the Samsung phones are made, and the workforce behind it and the less than ideal conditions behind it. I will say,
Little
while
Chinese children strapped to tables.
yeah, while I enjoyed the show, I think it got a little preachy on that aspect of it. But that's just me. Very, very interesting show. So if it's interesting to you, you can find the script online. I know there's a lot of little theater groups that are doing that, local ones and bigger ones, things like that. Very interesting though, especially if you're a tech interested person. And I think it might have gotten me interested enough to finish reading the Walter Isaacson biography on Steve Jobs because I only got about halfway through before I kind of got bored with it. And say what you want, Steve Jobs was a dick. I think everyone would agree on that. But he had a vision that was very interesting, and it's very interesting to see how he guided Apple.
Yeah. Most really, big time geniuses that changed the world, a lot of them weren't very, socially adept.
Well, ain't that the truth?
They're too focused on, on creating things, changing the world, and trying to make the world fit their, what they see in their head to worry about other people's feelings.
Yeah, that's true. But that's really what I've been getting into. I'll probably the rest of my plans today is to do some laundry, to do some dishes, go to the grocery store, and play video games. So I'll be somewhat on Twitch probably playing some of those, but nothing too crazy. What are you getting into, Bachman? Aside from comics, of course, because I know there's
No,
going to be a big list, and I'm excited.
this time it's pretty much comics. Yeah, I
Nice.
went to my storage unit yesterday looking for my Fitbit because I'm getting ready to start. Like I said, July 1st, I go back to my full diet restriction, no soda, no drinking. I'm only going to have 2 cheat meals from July 1st to October 3rd to October 30th for Halloween, which I have scheduled for Ant-Man and the Fantastic Four.
Even The Rock
Because
cheats more than that, man.
well, The Rock doesn't have as much fat to lose as I do.
Touche.
I
Touche.
still got a little bit of the since the divorce, I've dropped 40 pounds and gained about 10 in muscle. So I'm definitely I'm doing much better than I was. I've literally lost like 30 pounds of fat, but there's still a little bit around the midsection I want to get rid of, especially if I'm going to be slimming myself into hopefully a nice V-shaped Captain America torso piece. Yeah, I need to finish getting rid of the rest of this beer gut. So, but yeah, like I said, I have the cheat days scheduled because those are the days I'm going to take half days at work, which will be Ant-Man and Fantastic Four, because the streak's still alive, and I will not miss either one of those movies on opening day, even if FF might end up sucking. I'll still see it at least once in the theater opening day.
Look, I still
I'm
have
not giving
heartburn.
up on the streak.
I have heartburn over the fact that Victor Von Doom is a blogger. I'm not sure how that's going to
Uh,
work, man.
it's I don't know, but Chronicle was amazing, and it's Josh Trask and at least one of the actors from Chronicle. So just on the fact that it will probably be an awesome Johnny Storm movie, I'll see it just for that.
Fair
But
enough.
yeah, other than that, it's basically been comics. I prepped myself to only have trying to pay off bills and stuff from the house. I only had $80 going to the Captain America or Captain Comics anniversary sale, which was this Friday. But I think I did fairly well. The real big thing was I only got a couple of my new pull list books, but part of the sale was any of the books in the 50% off book club, which are the used trade paperbacks, were now 60% off. So I got $125 worth of scalped
Oh, wow.
for 75.55 off. Yeah,
Wow.
so 60% off. I own volumes. I'm missing 3 and 4. Other than that, I have 1 through 10. And so yeah, so all of that was that alone was awesome. And then there was little freebies on top of it where they give out hardcovers if you spend enough, trade paperbacks if you didn't. So I got me Siege Prelude, got me a volume of Earth's Mightiest Avengers, nice little hardcover that I hadn't read, and I picked up oh yeah, and I also finally read Spider-Man Reign, which is a really cool alternate universe older Spider-Man who's kind of insane. If anybody hasn't read this, it's Carrie Andrews. Fucking fantastic book. But I finally finished reading that one, and then I picked up on from my pull list. I ended up only grabbing 3 Marvel books. Secret Wars #3. This just keeps getting better and better. Secret Wars is fucking fantastic. I don't know what they're doing over at DC with Convergence, but Marvel's Secret Wars has been a blast so far. Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. Definitely not the story I thought it was going to be,
Same
but
here.
super cool. Did that ending fuck with you or what?
I was not expecting that. I mean, I kind of expected the fact that most of the Avengers and stuff might be gone, but the fact that Peter hangs up the tights, holy
Yeah,
crap.
yeah. Huge spoiler alert. This is a world where Peter says power and responsibility are responsibility to keep your family safe. He gets to the point where he's willing to murder Venom and ignore like a worldwide danger call for the Avengers and let basically a supervillain take over the planet to protect his family.
Well,
And so yeah, it's
to be fair, he'd have probably gotten killed if he went with the Avengers too.
more than likely, yeah. The person they fought, yeah, pretty much killed off everybody. And yeah, it's Adam Kubert came back for the artwork. Dan Slott's still writing it, so if it's Spider-Man and Dan Slott, I will read it. It's guaranteed goodness. The man he knows how to write Peter Parker. And yeah, it's a really fun book, but yeah, the twist at the end is like holy shit. So I'm really excited to see where it's going to go forward because I think, of course, with that being like the kind of the twist ending at the end of the first issue, I think we're going to see where is it Regent? Is that the dude that runs the planet now
Yes.
in this world? I have a feeling that somehow he's going to push on Parker, and Peter's going to have to put the tights back on to try to take him down
So is his kid
because
going to have spider
eventually.
powers?
Yeah, see, that's what they haven't said, but yeah, by the end of the issue, yeah, she's a bit older, so yeah, it's a question of is she the new Mayday Parker
Yep.
from MC2, where she grew up and then ended up having dad's powers. But yeah, a fantastic book and a super fun read, and then probably the funnest read of the week, giant size, Little Marvel versus X.
Oh,
It's
nice.
fucking Scotty Young drew it, Scotty Young wrote it, and it's all the Scotty Young baby characters in their own universe where they basically live in a little neighborhood where they just terrorize each other all day long before their parents call them in because it's dark out and they need to go to bed. This is the funnest shit ever. Yeah, if you only get one book this month, I would say grab that just because it will make you laugh. And I mean, Scotty Young, the artwork's fantastic. If you want something bloody, they've now changed the cover tagline to just say the best comic in the universe, and they are correct. If I only had one book on my poll list, it would be Invincible. They finally show you the end results of the battle between Thrag and Battle Beast, which has been going on in the background of this comic for, I believe, the last 6 issues, where they'd be telling the story, and it would cut to a 2-page spread of them fighting because they've still been fighting for like weeks. And you finally find out what happens with those two characters, and it is just utterly amazing. There's also a very strange splash page in there. I'm not sure. I think it might be the first time it's ever been done in a comic. Mark Grayson, Invincible, goes to check on his daughter, who is Tara, his kid that he had with Eve, and they left Earth. He goes to check on the baby, and Ryan Otley drew a 2-page spread of a dad looking down into the crib and seeing his daughter. And I think it may be the first time ever that there's been a 2-page comic book spread of just a baby in a crib. It
That's
was
interesting,
very
though.
strange. It's a fantastic looking page. Like he drew his ass off on it. And yeah, this is a guy who draws some of the most amazing ultra-violent superhero fights ever, with people getting their heads exploded, their guts ripped out, and he did a 2-page spread of a baby in a crib. It is amazing. Let's see. And then the last thing I got out the sale was I finally picked up the first volume of Copperhead. I've heard nothing but good stuff about this book. The pull quotes on the back are from Brian K. Vaughan and Robert Kirkman. Brian K. Vaughan said Copperhead is the best Image debut of the year and my favorite new comic. For those that don't know, Vaughn's the one that writes Saga. And Kirkman of The Walking Dead and Invincible fame said, if you go to a comic shop today and can only buy one comic, make it Copperhead. No joke, cool book.
Oh, nice.
It is like a sci-fi steampunk western, and like it totally fits into all the like the cliche things of a western, but it's also in a universe where it's post a war between humans and another species, and now because of a treaty we're all working together, but the other species feels taken advantage of. So like Saga, it's filled with all these very different like there's artificial people, there's these multiple different alien races that you're introduced to within the first couple of issues, and also, Image, they like to keep the crack cheap. So the first trade is $9.99. I'll fucking guarantee anybody that spends $10 on this, if you don't like it, send it to me and I'll buy it from you and give you your money back. It is a great fucking book. It's fun.
Challenge
And the
accepted.
artwork's awesome.
Everybody buy it.
Damn right. Go
Then
get
make Anthony
Copperhead. At
pay
least get the
for
first volume. Hey, I'll make a stack of them. I'm good.
it.
And then
He's going to build a
heading
fort.
into the anniversary sale, I wasn't sure about a couple of books I thought about buying, and so I reminded myself that local libraries are awesome, and local libraries that stock comics are even better. And every time you check out those comics, it tells them that they're the people doing their budget and stuff that they need to keep buying more and more comics. So I went to my local library and I picked up I Zombie, You Vampire. I picked up Glory Volumes 1 and 2. I picked up Karen Gillan's Uber Volume 2. I picked up The Black Beetle by Francis Francavilla. Fucking gorgeous book. I found a new Black Sad, which I hadn't read. Amarillo, which is apparently the yellow book. If you haven't seen Black Sad, it is the prettiest comic in the world ever. It's noir detectives told with anthropomorphic characters. The main character is a black cat who is a detective. There is no prettier book in comics that I think I've ever seen in my life than Black Sad. They're just
Interesting.
fantastic. And then the one that I was really thinking about buying at the anniversary sale, but I wasn't sure yet because it's a $50 book, and the only copy my LCS has is wrapped in Saran wrap, and so it's kind of tough for me to drop $50 on something that I have no clue about. So I went and picked up Crawl Space at my library, and you can see from the spine, this is a big ass book. It's
Holy
a
crap.
giant anthology of Rick Remender zombie stories, and so I wanted to see what the interior artwork looked like for a bunch of the different stories before I buy it. And I haven't had a chance to read even like the first story yet. But yeah, from what I've seen, the artwork's amazing. And of course, Rick Remender is a fantastic writer. The dude can tell some really, really wicked tales. And there's, it's him and a bunch of different artists. So it definitely looks like something I will eventually pick up. Probably I'll wait till the Christmas sale, because my LCS, they only do 2 sales a year, and that's why they're such good sales. He only does a Christmas sale and an anniversary sale. That's it. So yeah, Crawl Space looks like it's going to be fun. But yeah, don't forget, whenever you're not sure about a book, go hit your local library. The Boise Public Library is not a huge system, and they have a graphic novel section that now stretches over, I think it's 12 bookcases. Like, they've bought in a ton of freaking comic books, and it's a great place. Go try out a run of something and read the first 4, 5, 6 trades. It doesn't cost you nothing. If you like it, maybe you buy it later. If not, you have an idea about that writer or the artist that work on the book. It's more comics, more comics, more comics.
So before we wrap up, Draftsman in the chat room asked me to plug something for him. And I know we have some Chicago-based listeners because normally Naki's on here and brings those folks in. Right
You're
now
gonna
in
plug the
Chicago,
Draftsman?
no, I'm not going to plug the Draftsman, but right now going on in Chicago is the Chicago Alternative Comics Expo. It's called Cake. It takes place June 6th and 7th.
Nice.
If you go to cakechicago.com, you can go look up and see what they're all about. So you got a chance today to go catch the last day of it. They're open till 6 p.m. And hell, I'm sure Draftsman could tell us more about it. Maybe next year, as this one's coming around, we might get some more info on it. We can plug it on the show. But if you're in the Chicagoland area and you're hearing this live, go check out the Cake Expo.
Nice.
Okay, so real quick before we leave off, he just put in the chat room that Draftsman ran into Gene Ha at the show, and there was an attendee, and he said it was cool to see successful and established artists go support more indie and up-and-coming artists. So this is a big indie-based con, I
Very
guess.
cool.
It could be pretty cool, and if I'm reading this right, I think it's free to go to, so you might as well go if you're in the area.
Nice.
Were I in that area of the country, I would go. Let's put it that way. That's all I'm saying, yo. I don't know why I put the yo on the end. That's weird.
Get out and show some love for comics, yo.
Exactly. So,
Comics.
comics biatch. We need Jason Mewes just saying comics biatch so we can have that as a bump. I think
we can make that happen.
We could make it happen. He's pretty receptive to Twitter
I got
requests.
$10. Yeah, I got $10 on the Twitter account. We can probably get that to happen.
There you go. We're good to go. So we're probably going to wrap up the show now because we have gone over because we started talking about comics and got distracted. So sorry, guys. We're about 10 minutes over. Whatevs, though. Don't forget, if you like listening to the show, you can find us live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern over at live.atgnpodcast.com or go to alphageekradio.com, click on Channel 3 right there. You can either listen or watch us live on that website as well. For more info on Alpha Geek Radio, go to tunein.alphageekradio.com, and you can see all the cool places that plugs into. If you have any feedback for the show, you can leave us a message at 304-806-ATGN. Put your voicemail on there. You can tell us what you really think. If you want to leave a little bit of a shorter message, go to Twitter at ATGN Podcast or Facebook at facebook.com/allthingsgoodandnerdy. And before I forget, because I almost always do, you can always email us at atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com. There's all of your ways to reach out to us. You can tell us what you like, what you don't like. And hell, the best way, honestly, is go sit in the chat room. If you sit in the chat room, you tell us to plug things, we do it because we're easily susceptible to influence.
We love our peanuts.
We do love our peanut gallery. So also I want to give a big thank you to everyone in the peanut gallery who joined us today, especially a thank you to Neil, who was going to try and fill in for Naki until we found out that his laptop won't let him run Hangouts on it. But we tried.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, we'll make it happen sometime, Neil. Yeah, he was texting me while this was going on, and I had turned off all my notifications because I didn't want weird sounds going on and things like that. So I guess he texted me multiple times. I never saw it pop up because my notifications were off. So I felt like a dick. So I'm going to publicly apologize live on the show. I'm not really a dick. I just didn't see any of the messages you sent me. I'm sorry.
We will edit that. Chris is a dick, Neil, but he wasn't being a dick to you on purpose.
Yeah, not on purpose. I've been called worse. Let's be honest, though. I mean, seriously, I've really been called worse.
This morning, and it wasn't even me.
Yeah, that's true too. Next week, we should have Naki back, assuming her power is back on. Because, like I said, that's why she's not on. So we should have the full crew here next week for more insanity on the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. But until then, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Bacon dick butts.
Yeah, and that too. Bye, guys.